This robot is capable of implementing almost every strategy. So the only thing you need is, hey everybody, Marin here from Algo Trading Space team. I'm very excited about today's video because I want to show you a new expert advisor that was recently released, the Architect Algo EA. And like the name suggests, this is not just typical expert advisor, but this is an expert advisor which will allow you to create a variety of trading strategies by configuring the inputs. But let me switch to my screen to show you what I mean. I'm here on my trading screen and you can see my DarwinX account where I'm trading this robot on multiple charts. And actually this is an expert advisor developed by the Responsible Forex Trading vendor who created the sharpshooter, the vigorous and few other interesting strategies. So this caught my attention once I saw this robot and I decided to give it a try and to show you this in today's video. Before I explain what actually is this expert advisor, let me first show you something. So this is the account where I'm testing this robot right now. It's a DarwinX 0 account and it's perfect for testing such strategies because DarwinX has sufficient historical data since 2017-2018. They provide real tick data, real trading conditions with the slippage and all the stuff. So this is a very good environment to test new strategies and this is what I usually do. If I go to the summaries right now, you can see that we have several currency pairs traded. So once you get the Architect Algo EA, you get access to this folder. Inside this folder is the export file, and also here we have extras and we have some tutorials head files. If you open the documentation and scroll to the strategy tutorials section, you can see a variety of tutorials which the vendor created, and these are different strategies that you can directly start using. They have set files here in the set files folder, and you can see the first strategy, for example, it trades M15 time frame, euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, and the second trades M15, euro dollar and dollar Swiss, and we have a few more strategies for different currencies and different time frames. If I switch back to my trading platform, you can see I have 7 charts here, and actually I'm not trading and testing all the strategies, but I made some backtest and picked some of the strategies, and you can see here this is strategy 1. I traded for the dollar Swiss, and then we have for the pound USD I trade strategy 3, and what I try to do here actually is to have one currency pair per strategy as much as possible, of course, because for the euro dollar I found that this one seems to be a very good strategy according to the backtest, so I decided to give it a try. But let me show you the backtest for those strategies, and actually I'm going to use the Backtest Manager, which is one of the tools at algotrading.space.com. You can access this one from your account page if you scroll down and go to the analysis apps, and you can find the Backtest Manager. You can click on Launch Manager and you can start the Backtest Manager. And in this case, because I have been making multiple backtests, I clicked on the Book Manager and uploaded multiple reports from the strategy tester here. Now here you can see the reports, and actually I'll just scroll down a little bit to show you the different strategies, and you can see here Architect Algo strategy 1, M15 euro dollar, M15 pound dollar, M15 USD Swiss, and you can sort them here by different criteria. For example, sort them by return or sort them by equity drawdown. And actually here with this robot we received set files for the vigorous EA, for the sharpshooter EA, and for other strategies that are part of the Powerhouse bundle. So you can see how these strategies are created, and you can try to improve them or you can try to mimic them for different currency pairs, which I think is really interesting. But let me show you something, guys. As I said, with DarwinX we have quite a lot of historical data, so I figured out that for all the currency pairs which I want to make backtest, I need to start backtesting for this period up until the end of October, so we can have equal exposure, and you can see the count of trades and a lot of information here. But let me show you the detailed statistics about this strategy. This was the strategy 4 on the M1 chart for euro dollar. So you can see here, this is a backtest made on $100,000, the total number of trades, the win rate, the profit factor. This is all the information that you get from the strategy tester on MetaTrader, but it is displayed, as you can see, in much clearer and beautiful way. So you can take informed decisions right from these charts here. And what I liked actually for this strategy is that it has a lot of trades happening. This is for a period of about 7 years. And actually we have very good profitability. The strategy stays with relatively low drawdown. Almost 14% for the last 7 years is very good in my opinion. And also what I like is the duration of the trades, and I can see the strategy holds trades for around 13 hours average, which is good for the DarwinX risk engine, and this is one of the reasons I decided to choose the strategy. And I made the same analysis about all the strategies. I went here, I decided to skip the vigorous and the other popular strategies because I wanted to test these new strategies, and this is how I made my setup. But let me show you now the properties and inputs I'm using. So I'll focus again on the strategy which I showed you, the Euro USD M1. This is a scalper strategy, obviously. There are a lot of inputs actually here. And you can see here that we can customize the magic name, the strategy name also, which will appear here in the order history and in the order comments, and a few other stuff that we can do. I'll just scroll down quickly to show you all the settings. There are tons of settings that we can use, guys, here. For example, we can configure the indicator signals, the trend filters also. We can configure a lot of stuff. And here I use the pre-configured set files from the PDF guide, which I showed you. So at the end, I just place the strategy the way it is, loading the default set files. Overall, the strategies would look similar to what we've seen from the Responsible Forex Trading, but this is not the biggest value of this project. As I said, this is a new expert advisor. And if I go to the order history, you can see that the majority of the strategies are grid strategies with martingale element. So you can see they add to the position and increase the lots, which is something we've seen already in the Powerhouse strategies. So something that we are familiar with. And the reason why I chose Darwin X0 to test this EA for the first time was because they provide access to real trading conditions. As you can see here, this is a Darwin X live account and it is a $100,000 account. So I have a lot of margin and a lot of capital to experiment, especially with those grid and martingale strategies. And this for a relatively low subscription fee, which I pay every month. And actually this allows my account to compete with other accounts for capital allocation provided by Darwin X, and I can also attract external capital. We have a complete course about Darwin X0. I'll put the link in the description below if you're interested to learn about the platform. So this was my first look at the Architect Algo EA. As usual, I will list several pros and cons. On the positive side, I will say that this EA allows you to implement almost any algo trading strategy. Second, we have very extensive documentation with almost 90 videos. I personally counted them, guys. There are a lot of videos about the different indicators, inputs and properties, which is amazing job by the vendor. On the third spot, I will put something which you can find in the user guide. And this is the fact that the vendor is going to create monthly contests about this strategy, where you can create your own set files and compete with other users. And if you comply with certain rules, you can get a money reward. And also, if your strategy is good enough, it can be added to the Powerhouse set of strategies. So this is something that's going to be developing in the future for sure. On the negative side, I would say that the amount of customizations is enormous. It took me more than a week to get through all the videos, to get through all the settings and inputs. And actually, I didn't have enough time to play around to try to make my own strategy, which was my initial goal for this video. But anyways, I wanted to show what's available because this is a very solid foundation. As a second negative point, I would say that this EA is not for everyone. You would need to have knowledge about algorithmic trading, to have strategy in mind. Also, you can play around with the settings and try to create something from scratch, but it will take a lot of time. Though, as I said, the community most likely will create good strategies, and hopefully in about a few months we will see this EA having 20 or more strategies that are suitable for different types of accounts. So what's my final verdict about the Architect Algo EA? I think this is a very interesting project, and the fact that it is launched at the end of this year kind of sets the ground for what's going to happen in the next year. I personally think that algo trading is going to develop more and more in this direction in the future. To have this kind of strategy builder EAs where you can configure your own strategies or use different inputs and make backtests to find the best settings for your trading account. What do you think, guys? What are your thoughts about the future? Let me know in the comments below. This was Marin from Algo Trading Space, and I see you in the next video. Bye!